Good evening. This is B.A. Nagesh, retired civil servant, MA in Political Science and Public Administration. Today we continue the discussion on writing practice for the mains 2021. We do a unit on General Studies 2 International Relations. General Studies 2 basically comprises polity, governance, and international relations. If I see the questions of the previous 4 to 5 years, the international relations component carries nearly 60 to 65 marks out of 250. When I spoke some time back of how the prelims is interrelated to the mains, I had in mind the first unit of the prelims, current events of national and international importance. So current events of national and international importance basically figure in the general studies paper. Current events of national and international importance come in the ranking essay also. Current events of international importance, what you prepare for the prelim, comes in the mains in General Studies 2 IR. The only difference is you learn the core concepts in the preliminary for answering the MCQs, and you elaborate what you have understood in 250 words, 150 words in the mains. The material for preparing for the component on international relations is basically the editorials of the Hindu, Indian Express, then select issues of World Focus will help you. Besides this, also the annual report of the Ministry of External Affairs, latest annual report. This much would help you for the GS2 IR paper. And as I said earlier, people who are taking PSIR as an optional, they cover all the international relations in paper 2, section A and section B. So the advantage of a person opting for PSIR vis-a-vis a person opting for any other optional is the candidate opting for PSIR will write better answers in the international relations paper, that is in GS2, compared to others with non-political science background. With this brief introduction, we go into the question for discussion. The FATF, that is the Financial Agenda Task Force, seeks to curb terror finance and money laundering. Substantiate with reference to its mandate and current issues. So in this, your answer is going to be split up into 3 issues, 3 portions. A general introduction on what the FATF is, when it came about, what is its mandate, current issues, why Pakistan continues on the grey list. The FATF is the global money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog. We have seen how terror funding and money laundering is a major issue affecting our internal security. The terrorists get money from abroad through the program, through money laundering, and how the terrorist groups outside India are financing the splinter groups in Jammu Kashmir, and how they're also funding the left-wing extremist movements. So the FATF is a global money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog set up in 1989 by the G7 summit, which was held in Paris. In 2019, the FATF issued a new mandate, that is to lead a decisive, coordinated, and effective global action. Decisive, coordinated, effective global action to counter the abuse of the financial system by criminals and terrorists. So this is the new mandate of the FATF. What is the object for which the FATF was set up? Necessary political will to bring reforms. Reforms in the sphere of checking money laundering and checking terrorist financing. For that, it seeks to inspire the countries to bring about reforms. That is, generating political will to bring about reforms in these two areas, money laundering and terrorist financing. The FATF gained prominence in the background of the 9/11 terror attacks. The FATF basically seeks to counter the financing of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Keeping in mind especially the nuclear weapons, it seeks to check this, to check the counter financing. How does the FATF function? It operates through two lists. One is the blacklist. Nations which are deemed non-cooperative in efforts to curb money laundering and terror financing. So this is the blacklist. Grey list, nations which present significant risks of money laundering and terror financing but show the potential to work closely. So there are two lists operated by the FATF. In the blacklist, as I said, countries categorized in the blacklist are non-cooperative, especially the South Korea, in efforts to curb money laundering and terror funding. Or it could be even the military dictatorships like Myanmar, which are not cooperating. That is, in efforts to curb money laundering and terror financing. In the grey list, nations which present significant risk of money laundering and terror funding but show the potential to work closely. That is, in the grey list, the countries like Pakistan, how the FATF is bringing pressure to see that it complies with the directions issued by it. So it is in the grey list. In fact, the FATF is seeing that Pakistan will not slip into the blacklist. Now, why does Pakistan continue to be on the grey list? The first, Pakistan has failed to tackle terror financing. Everybody knows for sure how Pakistan is playing a dominant role in funding the terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir, funding extremist operations. So the failure to tackle terror financing is one of the reasons why Pakistan continues to be on the grey list. Out of 27 points which are submitted, which are given by the FATF, Pakistan has still to initiate action on 3 points. Now, Pakistan has failed to take action against terrorists like Masood Azhar of the JEM, Hafiz Syed of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, and Zakir Rahman Lokri of the LET. LET is operational commander. So in fact, we have a situation in which the court has acquitted action. The court has let them off the hook, let these terrorists off the hook. And so now Pakistan takes the plea that the judiciary has let them off and the government cannot do anything. So failure to take action against the terrorists, especially these are all pointed out by India to the FATF, how the leaders of the JEM, LET are continuing to operate from Pakistani soil and how they are a threat to our internal security. Another issue why Pakistan continues on the grey list is the government acquitted the killers of Daniel Pearl, who was a journalist who was covering events in Pakistan. The killers of Daniel Pearl were acquitted by the court. Pakistan did not do anything. Continuous involvement in Afghanistan. Pakistan is continuously involving in the internal affairs of Afghanistan, and this is another issue in which that's why Pakistan continues to be on the grey list of the FATF. Finally, the judgments delivered in Pakistan, whether let it be by the court or even the policy statements issued by the military authorities, are not in public domain. So there is an atmosphere of secrecy everywhere. So unless this is settled, Pakistan continues to be on the grey list. So we spoke of the mandate of the FATF, why it was set up, and I said recently in 2019 it had an enlarged mandate, that is to lead decisive, coordinated, effective global action to counter the abuse of the financial system by criminals and terrorists. And we also spoke of how the FATF is trying to bring about political will to initiate reforms in this regard. Reforms, one, on to check global money laundering, two, to check terrorist financing, and three, to counter the abuse of the financial system by criminals and terrorists. This is the new mandate given to the FATF. Finally, we said how the FATF operates on two lists, the blacklist and the grey list. The blacklist basically denotes countries who are non-cooperating, especially where money laundering and terror financing is concerned. We speak of the military republics, the military dominated dictatorships like Pakistan, not exactly Pakistan, the other military republics, because Pakistan is in the grey list. In the grey list, nations which present who have a risk of money laundering and terror financing, but they show the potential to work. That is, they're willing to work with the FATF. And the FATF is seeing that Pakistan does not slip into the blacklist. Then we also spoke of why Pakistan continues on the grey list, because failure to tackle terror financing, failure to take action on 3 out of the 27 points listed by the FATF, failure to take action against the top commanders of the like Masood Azhar of JEM, Hafiz Syed of LET, and Zakir Rahman Lokri, the LAT's operational commander. India has consistently pointed out to the FATF that these leaders of the terror financing are very much in Pakistan, and they are carrying out subversive activities threatening India's internal security. So because Pakistan has not taken any action against these terrorists, it continues to be on the grey list. Acquitting the killers of Daniel Pearl without taking any action, though it was clearly shown how Daniel Pearl was tortured before he died, and the court acquitting the killers of Daniel Pearl and the government being a silent spectator. Continuous involvement in Afghanistan. Public statements, public policies, judgments relating to the above in Pakistan are not in public domain, and there is an atmosphere of secrecy. So these are the reasons why Pakistan continues to be on the grey list. So with all this, the FATF is trying its level best to check money laundering and terror financing. It is basically concerned about financing of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, like how South Korea is trying to threaten the world with weapons of mass destruction. So this is how we analyze a question on General Studies 2 International Relations.